Hey, Summit Church, Pastor Eric here. Thanks for coming to baseCAMP this week. We just paused where we were and where we're going. This next week, before we get any further, I'm so excited. Pastor Brandon is going to be preaching at church, so do not miss it. Show him some love and make sure you're there to encourage him in person, distanced or online as well. This last week, we concluded a series asking a big question for the entire month of February. What is love? We went through a number of different, obviously, verses, chapters, texts, but we focused in on 1 Corinthians 13, had a few different voices throughout that series. Thank you, Pastor Bill. Thank you, Pastor Brent and Pastor Katie, for speaking into that on each of those Sundays that you were a part. I had the honor of just being there with you all this last week and focusing on that last verse, 1 Corinthians 13:13. Faith, hope, and love remain, but the greatest of these is love. Answer to question, why is love the greatest? Well, it's because love is fuel, if you remember that illustration. Love is God, and love remains. It's crazy to think that hope and faith eventually will be like an obsolete phone. The faith in what is unseen will be seen. The hope in the future promise will be a present reality. Love is the one thing that's going to remain. What type of love are we talking about here? Well, we went through 4 basic loves, or 4 loves in the New Testament in Greek: eros, philia, storge, and agape. We narrowed in on each of those definitions, and then I asked the question, which love, or what did Jesus mean when he told us to love one another? We talked through, what did Christ actually mean? What was love to Christ? If you missed that, I gave you 3 points, or 3, you could say, guardrails that by Christ would define love. So go to the website, summitchurchmn.com, and make sure that you watch that section of the message and find out, what did Jesus mean when he said, love as I have loved? And then we talked about, what does that look like? If you remember, I almost broke my ankle standing on the board that was labeled 55105, our zip code here at church. And it was the foundation on these 3 loves that are really illustrated in the text as orphans now adopted by God, as people that are brought into the family in Ephesians, Christ loving us while we are yet sinners, this unconditional agape love, and then us being a friend of God, this philia, this brotherhood, this unity that comes with this. This is the foundation that I stood upon that really is what the world is looking for. And if you don't have that concise definition at the end of that message while you're watching the message online, make sure that you just write that down if you want to put that in the margin of your Bible, what love is based on the text and based on what Jesus, declared and died it to be. In a word, really, Jesus. This was something where we journeyed through this last series, and it was fun to see the different nuances come out. So excited for you to be a part of that. If you weren't a part of that teaching, really the question that culture is really asking is, what is the hurts, or the healing for these hurts that we're all encountering? And love is the one thing that remains. So take a look at that and make sure that you are here this week coming up at Summit, in person or online, as Pastor Brandon brings the word here at church. It's going to be a great Sunday. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for church. God bless you all. We'll see you soon. Hey, I made a mistake. It's summitchurchmn.org. And I said com. I had .com on my brain. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on.